How did it start off with? How was it?
So
Condition?
this bike was actually really interesting. We bought it from the Denaysville Motor Museum. The bike was bought by a guy brand new that stayed in Denaysville, and he rode it in town for a long time and that sort of stuff. But it had very little mileage on it because he only used to use it in town. And when he was done with it, he basically donated it to the museum. And a little while ago, the museum started clearing some things out, and they put it up for sale. And it's probably one of the most original P200s I've ever come across when we got it from the museum. Um, it came with its original tool set. It came with a aftermarket, well, not an aftermarket, an optional pump, a wheel pump, like a bicycle pump that used to go in a glove box, a Piaggio one. Came with all of its booklets and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was a really clean bike to start with, but we sort of knew that this was what we wanted to do with it from get-go. So we were looking for a nice bike to use it as a donor.
Where does the idea of let's make it a Pink Floyd themed Vespa come
So my dad and I are both a little Pink Floyd crazy. We absolutely love the band. We have all the albums. We've got like basically a shrine dedicated to Pink Floyd. We've got all their LPs, all their tapes, 8 tracks. We've got booklets. We've got posters, all sorts of things. So we figured, well, why not have a bike? Um, and it's one of those album covers that's an iconic cover, um, and black bikes look good. So we figured it would be a nice paint scheme.
The engine, it's not a normal P200E.
No,
It's
so the motor started out life as a P200's motor. We then built it into a 225, and shortly after that decided that we wanted to do something completely different. But the casings weren't strong enough to do what we were looking for. So we found another set of casings from a PX 200E, which have got stronger casings, stronger webbing, bigger output shaft, bigger input shaft. And we built a Quattrini 244 into that set of casings. It's the only motor that I've ever done where I modified the casings to make them strong enough for the motor, or for that cylinder kit setup. I very quickly found out that it is a lot more work than what is viable. It's much easier to just buy a set of Malossi casings, and every 244 that I've built since then has been built on Malossi casings.
and how fast can you put the 244?
So this bike will probably top out about 160, but it's not really so much about its top speed. Its real body piece is its power from in second and third gear. Um, Second and third, it pretty much just pops the wheel up at all times, and it is unbelievable how fast it runs through the gears. So it's a lot more of a in between gears bike than a top end bike.
But for Vespa, it's really quick.
For a Vespa, it's really quick. It's difficult to sort of put into perspective how fast, but the new HPEs, the new 300s, and that sort of stuff don't stand a chance against this bike.
Do you feel safe at high speeds on Pink Floyd?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the big things that we wanted to focus on was the way that the bike handled and the way that it's put this power down. So it's got BGM Pro F16 suspension front and rear, which is slow compression, fast compression, rebound adjustable. Um, it's got some really high end brake shoes and that sort of stuff to make sure that we've got some good brakes. As much as people try and go away from drums, we sort of wanted to embrace them, and we've got the drums biting as good as they possibly can. Um, it's got new tapered neck bearings on the steering. It's got new bearings throughout. It's got poly bushes in the casings to try and make it a little bit more stiff. Um, and then one of the other big things is the seat. The Nisa seat helps you stay in control of the bike a lot more. It puts you in a nice seating position, so you constantly feel in control. The bike doesn't at any point feel like it's too fast for the chassis.
Paintwork, vinyl work, where that will come from.
So there isn't any vinyl work on this bike. It's all airbrushed. Everything was done by Ryan at Custom Creations. It was one of the earlier paint jobs that he did for us. This paint job is probably 8 to 10 years old now. You would never say it. It looks phenomenal. But yeah, Ryan did everything on this bike, all of the paint work.
And then the pink pig.
So the Pink Pig on the glove box is an homage to one of the other Pink Floyd albums called Animals. On Animals, Pink Floyd did a bit of a publicity stunt where they strung up an inflated pink pig between the towers at one of the power stations in the UK, and became a bit of a spectacle. It was the album cover, and anybody who's a Pink Floyd fan knows about the pink pig, so we had to sort of include it somewhere as an Easter egg.
And then that will be it. The exhaust pipe. We saw it's much bigger than
Yeah.
the average one.
So the pipe on this bike, it was actually a Let's try that again. So the exhaust on this bike is a JL Lefty. It's one of the larger lefties that you get. It's suited to this sort of style motor, this sort of capacity, tuned for it. And it gives it a lot of meat in the mid-range, but still lets it breathe at the top. Yeah, it's a really nice pipe. It sounds really good. It looks really good. But there are some drawbacks to it because it's so big and it runs on the left-hand side. We can't fit a spare wheel on. So underneath the left-hand side cover, we've actually got a toolbox built in there so that we can carry a bunch of tools and that sort of stuff inside of the bike, your two-stroke oil and all that sort of thing, as well as the battery, because we've made this bike electric starts, which it normally wouldn't have been from factory.
Yeah.